So here we are. We are on the 12th and final episode of this mini podcast style series called the 12 Principles of Permaculture. If you have made it with me through all of the episodes until the end, thank you so much for your time and support and for listening. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you've sort of gleaned a tidbit or two that you can take with you to your own homestead. Okay, this last and final principle is all about creatively using change to your advantage and responding to change and not just sitting stagnant. So let's talk about a few ways that we've had to do that here on our own homestead. Okay, up first, I've talked about the water catchment pond multiple times already. That was a response to no rainfall. And now we're catching and storing water, not only from water runoff on the hillside, but from rain when it does fall. It's just like a rain barrel, except it's in the ground. So that's one way that we've responded and used it to our advantage. I actually like it so much, I've installed more than one throughout the property now. The second adaptation, which I'm having a hard time remembering now, but I think I did cover in one of the previous episodes, was how we had to pivot away from keeping our ducks in our natural waterway. We have a stream, but when the avian flu came through, that was a risk to take because of the high death rates that this particular virus was causing in 2022. So we moved them into an enclosed pasture space. And as a result, it really regenerated the soil and helped to sort of kickstart all of the forage that was growing in there. So that was another way we had to pivot. Something else we had to do is when we moved to the property, I kind of wanted a livestock guardian dog. It was on my radar, but it wasn't really a priority. Unfortunately, we had this fox and she became so comfortable with me, my husband, my kids. She did not care if we were outside alongside our ducks. She did not care that there was fencing. She was digging, she was hunting. Free ranging was no longer an option. And that's really not the best life I had envisioned for my flock. So I got a livestock guardian dog. We adapted. We communicated the boundary lines for where wildlife can exist and where we can exist. And since then, it has just been so much easier. I'll tell you a quick story. Before we got Axlu, my Anatolian Shepherd, I put out a trap. It's a live trap. It's a have-a-heart trap. But I put out a trap right by her foxhole. I didn't catch the mother. I caught one of her kits. Now, granted, it was really, really, really cute, but that thing was crazy aggressive. And when I reached down to grab the handle, it was like snarling, and after it was trying to take my hand off. I carried it close to the garage and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? I'm not going to drown it. I should give it back. But isn't that kind of counterproductive to trying to remove these fox? Well, the mother was so mad. In that short time when I was trying to figure out what to do, she started going in and out of the outbuildings looking for the kit. And it just made it that much worse. I had to get a guard dog, and we got Axlu. And since then, I've been able to grow crops in food forests because he's chasing not only the fox away, but deer and gopher, and he's just letting things be able to grow unaffected by wildlife. And then, of course, there's the fact that I can free range my ducks safely and feel, rest assured that they're going to be okay while they're out and about. The food forest itself wasn't just a response to Axlu, though. That was also a response to the fact that my soil is heating up hotter than ever. With little rainfall, it's getting drier. The summers are getting hotter. We sustain temperatures close to 100 or above 100 for 4 straight weeks in a row. So the food forest, growing food amongst the Russian olive trees that I have, amongst the cedar that I have, that was also an effort to try to keep crops cool and the soil cool. And it worked. And you know what? A lot of people say, how can you grow pumpkins in a forested area? I get it. Pumpkins are full sun crops, but guess what? Not only were they just tumbling their way around all of the forest floor area that they wanted, but they started climbing the trees and climbing shrubs. And that worked as a natural trellis system. And it was actually helping to air out the pumpkins. I'm looking at one right now as I speak, and I could even take a photo of it. I'll put it in my stories. But it helped to keep my pumpkins healthier. So it all ended up working out. It was a lesson I needed to learn. I just didn't know it. So those are some of the ways that we've had to adapt. I would absolutely love to hear how you've had to harness change, no matter what that is on your homestead. Leave it in the comments. And that's all I'm going to touch on. I could keep going on and on, but this is supposed to be a mini podcast style series. If you've enjoyed this approach to me creating content on Instagram, I would love to know. This is just sort of a way that I could connect with you and be a little bit more authentic and not feeling so scripted. It's just me sitting here talking to you without any written notes in front of me about what we've done on the farm and what our experiences have been. I do hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much again for your support. And thank you for listening to the 12 Principles of Permaculture.